Hey, what's going on guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2017 career mode, episode number 137 today for the USA Grand Prix in Season 7. If you did miss the last one, I uploaded about a couple of days ago, 5 days ago I think it was, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one here. But USA, always going to be a tricky one, but looking good as you can see at the moment with the engine allocation I've spoken about a few times before in previous episodes. I'm trying to see if I can just about manage to go the entire season without having to need a single extra component. Up till now, every single season, we've at least taken one extra column on the engine parts here. But you can clearly see, if you look carefully enough at the percentages, I think we're looking pretty damn good. I think we could do this for the first time. And obviously, that's no surprise because this is the first time where I'm beating a team where the entirety of the reliability upgrades on the R&D tree has been upgraded and taken for pretty much most of the season. So no surprise there. But for the first time, we can actually tick off that box as having done that in a career mode. But we move into USA. As I was saying, always going to be tricky here at USA. AI very, very good, especially on tyre where they're going to be very good. And last time was a decent enough Grand Prix, but unfortunate circumstances at the beginning of that Japanese Grand Prix just didn't mean we could. Just simply too much time to catch up. But he's hoping we don't have any issues at the very start of the race here. But first we have to get through qualifying and see how it goes. In practice, a little bit overcast, but then when it came to Saturday, all sunny, and it looks like it's going to be all sunny for the race. So thankfully for me, won't have to contend with any rain around here around Kota, which would be even more difficult really. But first we have to qualify, and so we're at the end of our first line lap here through the final corner, going out the gears across the line. At the moment it's not going to be good enough, only Q2 there, Ocon setting about lap time, and by the time we start our first second final lap I should say, we're down to P8, so not a great first run, and kind of to be expected really here, especially at USA, needing to get a little bit more into the groove. And in sector 1 already you can see through the first corner just taking a little bit sharper, and through the S section being a bit more committed, keeping the car in 7th gear so I can just float around with the car basically and just keep it on its tiptoes. But a very weird feeling in the Mercedes, I must say, for this episode. The entire time the car did feel very floaty and skatish throughout the entire lap, like almost like the car wasn't responding to the grip. And you can see in the end there, qualifying in P6, Hamilton really out-qualified me in P2, and fair play to him, he completely thrashed me in this qualifying session, and Vettel once again gets the better of me, and so that's again not going to bode well for the reputation level. And as I kind of alluded to maybe in the last episode of the Japanese Grand Prix, I've kind of almost given up on the idea that we're going to be able to get a Ferrari contract, because it's just too much of a big task to get the reputation level up. So yeah, like I mentioned in the last episode, I'm just going to be kind of focusing on myself in the championship, trying to get this done. And you know, we can try and potentially wrap this up earlier than we need to, in terms of like it can go we can get the championship wrapped up before the last race of the season if we keep up the consistent performances, because there's a lot of ground to cover, and for a lot of ground for Perez and the likes of Hulkenberg to make up there in the championship. But at the moment we have to concentrate on the race ahead of us and try and do a good job, because Hamilton clearly has got the pace, the car clearly has the pace to be on the front row, so we need to do better in the race, and so that's what we need to try and do. Let's go to the full grid then, see if there's any penalties to talk about, and then we'll get into the race for the USA Grand Prix.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Sergio Perez and Force India start on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo, and a Mercedes, Verstappen, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, and Jolyon Palmer, Massa, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean, and Sainz, Alonso, Wehrlein, Lance Stroll, and Daniel Kvyat. Van Dorn and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So onto the starting grid then, and no penalties to talk about. Daniel Ricciardo is still alongside us, and Esteban Ocon is still right ahead of us then. But we got a full dry race there, a little bit of cloud apparently right at the end of it. But at the moment it's a two-stop with 2 sets of ultra soft tyres and then super soft. So I'm going to switch that to go to the set of super soft tyres at the first pit stop then, and then I'll see. For now I'll leave it at 2 sets of the red tyres, but I may well switch that and just make it a sandwich strategy basically with the ultra softs right at the end. But I'm not convinced the tyres can go that long. So for now, taking the precautionary and having 2 sets of super softs rather than 2 sets of ultras, but we'll see, as we have done so many times, we'll just do it on the fly. But here we go then to 5 red lights for the USA Grand Prix. Round number 17 of Season 7 is underway, and it is a pretty okay start. I mean, nothing great to talk about there, but then the second phase, up into 5th and in 6th gear, we do get a bit of a run on Daniel Ricciardo at the moment. Ocon's got the jump on Vettel, and Hamilton at the moment's got a fantastic start as Vettel cuts across us a little bit as he gets on the curbing. We go round around his outside there, and Vettel still on the inside when they cut across him a little bit, and the proximity arrow has gone back to white, and so we're all ahead and all clearly past, and we're up into 4th place. Then Ocon at the moment in 3rd, Perez 2nd, and Hamilton with a brilliant start up into 1st place there. So really does show after a great qualifying, you know, absolutely slapped me in terms of the lap time there on Saturday. Hamilton shows at the moment he's in very good control of this silver arrow at the moment in 1st place, ahead of both Force Indias, who are looking strong as ever. But good that we got ahead of Vettel there. I'm happy about that. So one less thing to worry about. And here we go straight away on Ocon then. We're straight away on the right hand side, darting to the right quite quickly. We try a switchback move here as I brake a little bit early. Doesn't work out though, to my surprise. Didn't get the traction I wanted. But then on the rundown into the S section, here we go. Look at that lightning fast speed from our car, and we're already past him before we even enter that second part of the S section there. That was really rapid. I was very surprised I didn't get him initially on the first corner anyway, but then I was even more surprised how fast I closed down Ocon before we enter the S section. You know, the engine upgrades we've done to this Mercedes car working an absolute treat, as well as the drag reduction, which makes the slipstream so powerful. And whilst I was just basically no man's land then, trying to chase after the top two of Perez and Ocon, we have Hulkenberg making his way through the field. He's already overtaken Vettel, and now he goes down the inside and goes side by side at the moment with Ocon, and managed to get him there. And so my former rival, I guess you could say, remember Hulkenberg was my main rival at the start of this season, but kind of it's turned into Sergio Perez more like. And speaking of Perez, here he is now chasing after Hamilton. Hamilton goes defensive on the left, and Perez trying to go the long way round. It's actually a fantastic little tussle between the two, but Hamilton squeezes him out for now and keeps ahead in 1st place there. But yeah, Perez being the main one trying to chase me out in the championship, and as you can see, these two fighting is helping me out because I'm just about catching up there. You can see as I whisk through the S section, as you can see on that nice replay camera shot, my rear end tail fishing a little bit there, and I'm trying to push the car to the limits, trying to catch as much time as I can, because these two are losing time every single lap they go fighting. And once again into turn 1 they go fighting. Hamilton this time though is a lot further back, but he tries to squeeze the throttle in the second phase of turn 1, and again on the outside on the left, trying to defend 1st place if he can from the Mexican, and he does do so, and for now he'll keep 1st. But look at that in the distance, there is my car in the distance catching and catching here, and so soon enough I'm going to be close enough to maybe make a fight for 2nd or 1st. We'll see what it's going to be, because it looks like now at the moment onto the back straight now on the next lap, Perez is going to have a good enough run here, and he's passed and cleanly passed Hamilton there as we move back on board with Hamilton. And so unfortunately I was hoping Hamilton could keep the fight for 1st, because I was kind of licking my lips at the chance of maybe fighting and going toe to toe with Hamilton legitimately for the first time in a while for 1st place there. But Hamilton drops off the pace from Perez, and now he's in 2nd, struggling, lock up into turn 1, and so we maybe have a chance to get him in the 1st sector if we can. We're rich mix at the moment, but I know he's going to defend hard, so I go down to lean mixture into the 1st sector, because there's no point burning and wasting fuel. And you can see here clearly the dirty air affecting me somewhat, and I just don't have a chance to pounce it down the inside, so I may as well save fuel at this stage of the lap and just be patient here as we roll the car through 4th gear, easy on the throttle on these left-handers. It's very easy to lose the back end, and that's unfortunately a place where the AI gained the most time on the player in general, not just me, but also when speaking to Tom when we were doing the co-op episode here, generally also the AI just very good all round against anyone really, against the traction zone. But now we can get it up into rich mix, open up DRS. We look behind briefly there, Hulkenberg very much keeping up with me, so even more important I get this move done and dusted to get a car between me and the German. And here we go, it's going to be a very easy pass, then swoop on the left, move back to the racing line, and Bob's your uncle up into 2nd place. And so now we get to really test our pace against Sergio Perez, and it looks like, to be honest, he's got a bit too much pace for me in this 1st stint, especially now you can see on the bottom right there, my rear tyres 45% wearing out quite a bit. Meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo out of this Grand Prix. Unfortunate for the Aussie man with Red Bull, so that's going to be unfortunate for them as a team, because remember the last couple of episodes Red Bull have had a resurgence, and they're beating Renault in the constructors now, and it looks like they're on a charge to maybe try and catch Force India and ourselves in Mercedes late on into the season. So a shame for them to have one of their lead gunners out of this Grand Prix. Obviously in qualifying, actually I was surprised they were a little bit lower down this time around around Austin, but I guess also you have that long back straight, which Red Bull still haven't managed to find the complete straight line speed, it seems, because generally they've only been fast around the corners in the last couple of episodes. This is kind of the first track really, apart from Italy, really, where they have been fully tested on the straight line speed, and it just wasn't enough for them. But we make our pit stop anyway onto a set of super soft tyres. And so I went a little bit earlier than I maybe wanted to, but it was very clear I was losing too much time against Perez on those worn ultras. And so now I'll see how this goes. We're immediately on the first lap out of the pit lane. We're caught up behind Fernando Alonso, and I think that is one of the Haas cars of Romain Grosjean. I think that is, and Alonso's going to try and make an overtake on Grosjean. I make an overtake on him, so it's me 3 wide here. And as Alonso overtakes Grosjean, I overtake both of them. It's a double overtake. Really satisfying move there, because it was a really late call to make the swoop to the inside, as Alonso was doing the exact same thing to Grosjean. So to go even further on the inside of him whilst he was making that overtake, a little bit nerve-wracking there. Made it work though, and especially on the braking, it was really kind of cautious in terms of what on earth Alonso was going to try and do on Grosjean there. He could have easily tried to also make a pass on me to kind of re-overtake me, I guess you could say. But no, we made it work, and we made a really nice double overtake. So we're up into now 9th place, and we've got Carlos Sainz, the next car up there. A lot of clean air kind of in between myself and Sainz, and then after Sainz a bit of air to use. And now as we look on the left-hand side, we've got the likes of Hamilton in the pit lane. It looks like he was an ultra soft tyre, so Hamilton opting for the default strategy. As I said, I'm doing this kind of cautious on the fly. We'll see how this stint goes. If I can make it to about, I would say, lap 20 or lap 19, then I would say I'd be comfortable going onto ultra soft tyres, but we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, it's the big reason why I went into the super soft tyres. But anyway, we catch up to Carlos Sainz then on to lap 10 though. And again, just like with Esteban Ocon's overtake, you're about to see how fast this engine really is in a straight line here up into Rich Mix, and rapidly closing up on Sainz down his inside rather than the outside this time for turn 1. We can squeeze him out, open up the steering wheel a little bit more, and go wide towards the curbing on the right there. And we're up the order up into 4th place now. Massa the next car along. And I think at the moment we haven't seen Perez at all, which pretty much kind of guarantees that he's still in first by quite some way at the moment. So I think Perez unfortunately might have this Grand Prix comfortably in his grasp, but we go around the Brazilian there up into 2nd place, and Perez is on soft tyres in 1st place. So that's even kind of doubly worrying, because basically that means Force India, or at least Perez, is going to try a one-stop, and we've known so many times before now in the past, Force India has just been way too good on the tyres. Obviously, it's something that we encountered when we were driving for Force India. They were just very, very good on the tyres and a bit too good for the rest of the field. So Perez with the pace to add, I think he's pretty much got that win under wraps. And it's kind of a case for us to try and hold back Nico Hülkenberg and not to see where on earth Ocon is going to be in this. Because if he's trying a one-stop and he gets ahead of us, he's going to have track position. And so it's a case of trying to push as hard as we can to go as fast as we can and pull a gap to Ocon, but also trying to keep Hülkenberg at bay. And also, at the same time, trying to balance the tyre and seeing if these tyres can go the distance. But now we've got a virtual safety car, and to be due to Max Verstappen, who's out of this Grand Prix. So it's a double retirement for Red Bull Racing. So it was looking oh so good for Red Bull in the second half of this season. You know, they had momentum, they'd got past Renault, as I mentioned before, basically all that same stuff, but now it's even doubly crushing. You know, it's already annoying enough already when you have one driver out the Grand Prix, Ricciardo, but now 2 retirements, a double DNF, and so 0 points for them at the USA Grand Prix. So that's probably going to play into Renault's hand, actually. So if Renault are lucky, they score enough points. I don't know where Jolyon Palmer is in all this, actually. Unlike the couple of other episodes, he hasn't been performing too well in this race, which is odd to kind of say. But if Renault are lucky enough, they could score enough points maybe to start kind of bring this back to Red Bull. But we come into the pit stops then on lap 19, like I mentioned, around lap 19, lap 20, and I would have been confident enough to go onto ultra soft tyres, and that's exactly what has happened. So in the end, I was actually maybe too cautious. Didn't need the two sets of super soft tyres. We basically just switched the strategy onto a sandwich set, and we're onto these purple tyres. And so now it's a case of just pushing as hard as we can, and we need to try and catch back up to that man, Nico Hülkenberg, and also Esteban Ocon. So Ocon is ahead of us, but he's on soft tyres, like I told you guys he would be on the one stop there. So we've got to try and catch both these guys, but we are crucially on the faster tyre out of all 3 of us, because I'm on ultras, Ocon on softs, and Hülkenberg is on super soft tyres. So I should have the grip, and immediately you can see rapidly closing up on Esteban Ocon as he goes very slowly, almost tiptoeing through the S section here, and now I sniff a bit of a chance here around the outside. It's going to be a lovely move, very unorthodox place to make a pass there on the outside off camber part of the S section, and we're up into 3rd place now, setting the fast after the Grand Prix as we've got 7 laps remaining. And so now we're hunting down Hülkenberg like a shark will catch his prey, and hopefully we can rapidly close him up in the next few laps, and we can get this pass done and have it be an easy slam dunk. As now we move on towards lap 23, we're in the DRS zone, Rich Mix will be available, and so now we just have to be a bit patient down this straight and just sit here and let the car catch the speed. And so for the 3rd time in this race, we're about to see the prowess of this engine power. You know, a lot of you guys were saying in the comments below at the very start of this season, wanting to see what the Mercedes engine can do. And so we catch up Hülkenberg so fast, though, that he just gets scared off the road and locks up, which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to a bit of a battle maybe with the Hulk. But yeah, I mean, maybe he saw our car catching so fast in the mirrors that he literally just crapped himself basically into the brake zone there. But it means it's going to be an easy P2 for us then, and unfortunately though we just can't catch Perez, nowhere near him, and he's going to take a very dominant, actually in the end of it, USA Grand Prix win. So fair enough though, but it does mean we do a pretty good job. You know exactly what I set out to do. Poor qualifying. Hamilton, you know, absolutely trounced us in qualifying, but in the race, brought it back there and brought it up to a very respectable second place. And so although Perez will be the one spraying the champagne on the top step of the podium, I can, you know, take from that race, you know, good recovery there. And once again, not as obviously a bigger recovery as Japan was. That was a pretty insane recovery, but, you know, still consistent as ever. And that consistency is going to get us way more points against Ocon, Hülkenberg, likes the Red Bull cars. Perez obviously will catch up a little bit by 7 points, but I think we should still have a very comfortable margin in the Drivers' Championship, and we can see that in a second here as we move on to the race results there. Perez first, myself second, Hülkenberg third, but you can see in the championship there, it's kind of, well, it's actually the same top three, but just kind of swap around a little bit. You can see 44, blessed 44 ahead of Sergio Perez. So I don't know quite what the maths is, but I think if we have a good enough race next time out, we'll be starting to get very close to making this a dead championship before we even get to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which is going to be, I don't know, I'm in two minds. Obviously, it kind of takes out the excitement of the championship, but at the same time also kind of shows the flexing of the muscles that we've had this season, and what a great car and combo, driver and car combo myself and the Mercedes car have been this season. The constructors, though, that's still a fight to be reckoned with, because Force India, very close, but we keep ahead for them by just a couple of points there, and Red Bull still do manage to stay ahead of Renault, unfortunately, for the guys in yellow. All in all, very decent race for us, and we kind of come level once again with Sebastian Vettel in the in-game rivalry. So guys, if you did enjoy the episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. But before we go, just like I mentioned at the very start of the episode, reputation-wise, we kind of took a hit in qualifying, then kind of brought it back in the race, and we pretty much end up where we started with from the start of this episode. So again, I'm not really sure, but we've got 3 races left. We've still got a job to do in this championship, so that's what we're going to do. But guys, till then, till my next video, hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbye.